Welcome back to Hot Mess Espresso, guys. Proudly sponsored by 502 Media. Most of you know that I stream on TikTok. I've talked about it a few times, and I actually really enjoy literally hand plucking my guests out of my TikTok chat, especially when they've been my ride or dies for the longest time, and they've got incredible stories and incredible journeys that I just really feel like other people should hear. So, without further ado, what is up, Schizo?
Hello. Thank you for having
Hello.
me. I appreciate the opportunity for sure.
Dude, you were like, well, maybe we should. I was like, nah, maybe. Like, I'm sending you the link right now. Like, let's go.
I mean, I'm always down. It's always an honor. This is awesome.
Look, I have always said I am not the end all be all for borderline diagnoses, especially because I'm quote unquote recovered enough. And you had mentioned you have borderline and schizoaffective. So we're just going to kind of dive right into it. I know people are more familiar with schizophrenia than schizoaffective. What is the difference between schizoaffective and schizophrenia from your knowledge?
So, from everything that I have learned about schizophrenia and schizoaffective,
Mm-hmm.
um, schizophrenia is the more violent,
Mm-hmm.
more uncontrollable, I guess you could say. And I'm saying that from experience because my dad was a diagnosed paranoid schizophrenia. So
Mm.
um, I've seen both sides of the coin. They're not always violent. It just depends on medication and all that good stuff. But we'll get into
Mm-hmm.
that. Schizoaffective is the more extremely emotional side of schizophrenia.
Okay.
So everything I feel is amped up by a million, essentially.
Oh, and then couple borderline with that. So you feel all the things all the time.
All the things, all the time, just nonstop.
Oh my God. How did you even start to get diagnosed? Like, how did that whole journey come about?
So back in 2019, I'd like to say. Now, this is a situation I will talk on it, but I'm not going to go into it for personal
Absolutely.
reasons. But I did say I was an ex-professional wrestler.
Hmm.
There was a lot of shady things that happened in that business,
Hmm.
specifically with one person. Now, he is in jail for the things that he did, so that's a plus. But
Bonus.
yes, so whenever that happened, it was like a whole downhill. Like I had had problems before, but this
Hmm.
was like the straw that broke the camel's back, essentially. And it just
Hmm.
sent me into a very big downward spiral, and it was just really bad. Like it got to the point to where I'd wake up very confused, walk in my living room, and all the people in my living room were like, they looked like skeletons. They didn't look like themselves.
Hmm.
And at that point in time, I realized there is a problem. This is not right. I need to go get checked out. And that's when the initial therapy started. And then I was bullied for going to therapy by the people I lived with. So I stopped for many years until last year.
You know,
Yeah.
I got my opinions on people that are like, oh gosh, you're getting help and trying to like be a better person. Like,
See, because
no, we can't do that.
their whole thing on it was I was just lazy. I was making up excuses, and it was all because I didn't want to work. That was their big thing is I don't want to work, so I'm creating all of these falsities around me and all that good stuff. I'm just making this up for, shits and giggles.
I don't understand people at all. So how did you feel when you got like were you officially told like, hey, you have schizoaffective and borderline, or was it like kind of like me where I saw it on my chart one day and I went,
So originally, the first set of diagnoses that I had gotten from my original therapist or whatnot, that's whenever I found out about borderline personality disorder. That's when I
mm-hmm,
found out about that and was able to start doing like research and all that good stuff. And I also got diagnosed with manic depressive disorder, uh, some anxiety disorder. I can't think of it off the top of my head.
it's usually generalized anxiety disorder.
Yes, and paranoid schizophrenic. Because at the time, I wasn't ready to admit it until I was.
Mhm.
I was doing a lot of hallucinogens, we'll put it that way,
Yeah.
back then. So that was what was fueling a lot of the paranoia that was going on. I
Okay.
was able to, it's still kind of there. I don't think it's ever really going to go away. I've kind of fried my
Right.
brain a little bit, but
It happens.
it wasn't until the recent therapy and all that good stuff that I realized that it is indeed schizoaffective disorder and it is indeed borderline personality disorder
Mhm.
without a second guess.
Yeah, 1,000%. What are the big differences that you notice that you're like, this is more my borderline acting up, or this is more my schizoaffective acting up? Or is it just kind of one big ball of the fuck?
Some days it's harder to decipher than others, but most days, I go by like a checklist because I have
Hmm.
like a mental checklist of okay, this is how I act whenever the schizo's acting up. This is how I act whenever the BPD's going on. So
Hmm.
I've narrowed it down to kind of a science. So if I'm being extremely avoidant, dismissive, switchy, if you will,
Hmm.
that's BPD. The
Yep.
shutting down the now, if I'm extremely confrontational, emotional in my feelings, that is schizoaffective. So it's like,
Okay. That's a lot to deal with. You got to be exhausted a lot.
yeah, it literally feels like even on my best days, it literally feels like I'm on E all the time.
Yeah,
So
I'm sure. Now, how have you been able to kind of, over the because you said you have been going to therapy since last year, right? So, how has therapy kind of helped you to break down some things or unpack a lot? Or are you finding that you're sometimes more triggered being in therapy because you are unpacking some things that you've kind of buried down and now you're dealing with it?
and I need to stop saying I've said that a lot. Oh, my bad.
Do you know how many times I say like? If I had $1 for every single time I've said like or on a podcast, I could have this would be passive income at this point.
I mean that's fair, but I've realized that going to therapy made me, for once in my life, really be able to sit down with myself
Hmm.
and really be able to think through and process and realize everything that's been done to me and everything else that I have done.
Hmm.
So I don't find it more triggering being in therapy. I find it really, really helpful because it's a
Right.
completely biased opinion. They don't know you personally. They just know you from what the information you've given.
Right.
My biggest phrase is you can only shoot with the ammunition people give you. So
Yeah.
I've found that going to therapy helps because it made me sit down and almost look in a mirror and be like,
Hmm.
something's not right. We really gotta start doing something.
Yeah. What are some, I guess, symptoms that you have noticed over the last year or so have been way easier to manage than they were like a year ago?
um, Anger, depression, and just the thoughts that go on in my head all the time. Um,
Those are so fun, aren't they?
well, luckily I've made friends with them.
Yeah. You kind of got to get all like cozy and snuggle up and just be like, okay, we're going to be here for a while, aren't we? Okay.
Not to quote Mudvayne or anything, but the barrel of a gauge, I'm kind of familiar with that taste.
Yep. I
But
think we've all if you've had a massive like major mental illness, you've definitely you know what
yeah,
that's like, unfortunately. Like
yeah,
I'm glad you're still here, obviously. We
thank you.
adore you. But yeah, what kind of medication, like how'd the med journey go? Because I know with borderline, it is really hard to medicate. It's almost impossible to medicate. A lot of it is therapy and sucking it the fuck up, which is
hmm
like not great. I know that I actually know a therapist that has poured her entire life into understanding borderline. And she's actually been on the pod before. Dr. Shannon. She is I love her. But back when I was on my journey, it was DBT and hoping for the best. So they put you on meds for bipolar because they're
Mm-hmm.
just like, we just got to handle the mood swings. I'm like, these aren't mood swings, these are splits. It is
Yeah.
not a swing. Like, it's not on a timer. And I'm not discounting bipolar at all, because I have friends that suffer from bipolar and I know it is hell to deal with. I
Mm-hmm.
know it's hell to deal with. But the difference between those is it's almost like a little bit of a more predictable timer at times, versus where borderline, I can look at you and split.
And the drop of a hat.
I can feel this. Can you, okay, this is going to sound insane, but can you feel a split coming on sometimes, especially when you're under a lot of stress or you've had like a semi-traumatic event and you're just like, I can literally feel either a dissociative episode coming on or a split coming on. And maybe it's like not feeling it coming on, but like knowing that it is more likely to happen because of that. Like, does that happen to you at all?
Yes. Now I don't necessarily every time consider it a split, but
Mm-hmm.
for me it's more mania,
Yeah.
manic. Um,
Mm-hmm.
on the days where, and it's so jarring because on the days when you have the most energy and you're the most energetic and you just everything's going great, and then you just so happen to look in the mirror and realize just how big your pupils are, and you just kind of punch the sink and you're like, man, I thought this was going to be, I thought, man, I was supposed to be having fun. This isn't fun anymore.
Yeah, no, it's for sure not. So how, because I know you had mentioned off camera that you've got a pretty unique methodology to your meds. How does it work for you?
So at first, I tried the traditional route, which is taking the medication and trying all the different medications. You know, they just take a handful of pills, throw it at you, and see what sticks, right? So I tried that at first, and it just came to a point to where I was feeling absolutely nothing. Nothing. I felt no emotion, no nothing. I felt like a zombie. So
It's so scary.
I made the conscious decision that I would much rather feel it all than
Mm-hmm.
feel absolutely nothing, because now in my life, I refuse to cut off anything that makes me feel.
Yeah, it's when everyone's like, "Oh my God, it's so nice to like not feel anything," and it's it's actually scary for me if I don't feel anything. I'm like, uh-oh, like it might be the meds or it might be me just completely dissociating, and
Yes.
we don't
Oh, we,
no.
we do not want that because we
We
make
don't
terrible decisions.
I don't remember. I mean, last summer, I don't remember 3 weeks of my life. I
Hmm.
mean, granted, it was a very traumatic event that kind of kicked that off, and I remember bits and pieces. I remember going through the motions, but if you tell me anything that happened I don't know. It
Yes.
feels like a lifetime ago. And when you come
Yes.
out of that, you kind of sit there, and dissociative episodes, everyone's like, "Oh my God, I'm just like dissociating." An actual dissociative episode literally feels like you are black out drunk, but you are sober. You literally come back out of it and you're like, I have no idea what
Hmm.
happened the last day, few hours, weeks,
Yes. The lights are
and
on, but nobody's home.
yeah, it's like you literally feel like you woke up from being blackout drunk, but you're kind of like hungover because you're just mentally exhausted. But it is not like it's one of those words that social media has just like decided to make
Romanticize in a
like,
way.
yeah, like a trendy word. Like, he's gaslighting and narcissist are two of my favorite. Can you actually read the damn definition
Right.
words? Because people are like, oh my God, he like totally gaslit. No, he manipulated you.
Hmm.
Gaslighting is when, like, case in point, it was like unintentional gaslighting with my ex-husband, but that man would be like, we never had that conversation. I don't know what we never had that
Yes.
conversation. I was like, yes, we fucking did. Like, and a lot of it had to do with like his severe memory issues, but that's what gaslighting felt like. I'm literally like screaming at him, like, yes, we had that conversation. And he's like, no, we didn't. And he is adamant that we never had that conversation. And I'm literally
Hmm.
like, did I hallucinate it? Like, and you just start to actually feel it was to the point where I was like, I have to record all of our conversations. That's what gaslighting is. And
Yes.
also, your ex isn't a narcissist, he's just an asshole.
He's just an asshole.
like like
There's
and
layers to this shit, people. Let's wake up.
yeah, like not everyone you meet that's an absolute piece of work is a narcissist. Not every form of manipulation or guilt tripping is gaslighting. And not every time you zone out is dissociating.
No.
For the love of God.
Now, just like you said, you literally have lapses in your memory where you can't remember anything.
It's
Like,
terrifying.
like I have so many people who will come up to me and be like, "Man, you remember whenever we did such and such and such and such?" I'm like, "I have absolutely," and they'll have like videos and pictures and everything, and I'm just like, "I'm glad you have those memories with me because I don't remember any of this."
Yeah. Do you care to like put that in my memory bank real quick? Because I don't remember.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's one of the craziest parts about any form of mental illness is just your memory. Like it just everything fades away. Like you have to have constant reminders about things, or else, well, it probably ain't getting done, and you're gonna feel like an even bigger piece of shit.
You should see my Google Calendar because I've got borderline and then I have the ADHD on top of it.
Oof.
So if I do not write it down, it does not exist.
I mean, that's fair.
It is object permanence times two. I have the dumbest shit in there, like start laundry. Because if I don't, I will be out of pants being like, so I
This
need
a
to get some laundry
problem,
done.
right?
Yeah, this is a big problem. Not a problem for some of the fucking creeps in my DMs. They'd be like, "No pants, no picture, didn't happen." But
Right.
yeah, literally,
Or
that's
those weird creeps that just like, yeah, I'm gonna go get a shower real quick, and they're like, ooh, without me? Yes, without you, get out.
yes, yeah, yes. Without you, that is my me time, and trust me,
Yeah.
you do not. I am not as attractive in a shower as you want to think that I am. I'm literally like shower cap and like that is my me time, motherfucker.
Right.
like no.
Give me that hour to myself, and then do whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, literally always creeps me out when all the fuckboys are like, "Oh, without me." Yes, Brad. Like,
Yes, Kevin, go away.
yeah, like go find a wall to punch, Kyle. Like, go
Yes, go drink
away.
your monster and get mad at your mom again. Go throw your controller. It's okay.
Um, so what has I'm a female with borderline. You're a male with borderline.
Hmm.
Men with borderline, I feel like I know that the diagnostic rate is a lot lower than with women. Um, but obviously going to therapy with people you used to live with was obviously negative feedback. But what is like the feedback overall been when you were telling people like, hey, this is what's going on with me? Like, were people supportive? Like, what was that? How'd
Um,
that all go?
so that was a very kind of touch and go situation because I'm
Mm,
from southern Mississippi, Bible Belt capital of the South, right?
mm,
So mental illness, anything like that
doesn't
practically
exist.
doesn't exist. Like it's all an excuse, it's all made up. You deserve to go to a loony bin, you don't deserve anything else, none of that.
You didn't pray hard enough. You don't have enough faith in
Exactly.
God. You didn't give it
Yeah.
to him. And I grew up Southern Baptist in the middle of New York, so like, yeah,
Mm. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it
That
was fun.
That's the main thing. That was the main point that everyone kept trying to come across was, man, it's just the devil on your shoulder. You got to get him off your shoulder. You got to just put your faith in Christ. And I'm like, brother, stop it. That might work for you, but not for me, brother. It's just not going to work for me.
I'm just sitting here like I'm pretty sure there's a story in the Bible somewhere of somebody who was dealing with severe mental illness, and I specifically and I cannot remember the exact story because it's been a hot minute since I opened a Bible. I don't really want flames in my face, but
That's fair.
um but I'm pretty sure Jesus was like super compassionate about it.
Yeah. The way
And I
that the way that the Bible portrays Jesus versus how Christians portray Jesus, two completely different things.
And I really hate that, like, the ones that are getting the attention for how quote unquote Christians act when it comes to Jesus are not the ones that are actually preaching his following, actually acting Christ-like, actually having the compassion and being like Jesus and stuff like that. It's the ones that are cherry picking and condemning and all of that, because I'm I still have a love for religion as a whole. Has it traumatized me to no end? Absolutely.
Yes.
But I also have friends and family that are genuine Christ-like, that's not how Jesus would have done this type
Right.
of people. And it like kills me that people are that everyone's getting looped into that because of people like Marjorie Taylor Greene. And that, those types of Christians that aren't really
And
practicing
like
what they're preaching
preaching.
at
Yeah.
all.
It's hypocrisy.
Love
So,
thy neighbor unless they're, not like us, and then
yeah.
ooh.
Yeah. So, when it comes to religion and all that good stuff, my religious trauma comes from actually the church that's right up the road from where I live now. But I was like 11 years old. Yeah, I was like 11 years old, and my buddy wanted me to go to church with him, right?
Mhm.
So we had a whole talk with the pastor before everything because he had told him that I didn't believe and that I was coming to try or some stuff like that. So everything was peachy keen. I was like, oh, this might go great, right? So we sit down in the pews and he's starting a sermon, right? And he looks dead at me, and I will quote it verbatim. He looks at me dead in the face and he says, if you don't accept the Lord Jesus Christ in your heart, you'd be better off putting a loaded gun to your head and pulling the trigger, because that's all you're going to get out of life. I got up and walked out of church.
That sounds about right, unfortunately, for a lot of, and I'm so sorry that got said to you at 11. That's awful. And again, that's what's taking the forefront with Christianity as a whole. Shit like that. And it's not fair to people that are actually like doing what they're supposed to be doing and being compassionate and stuff like
Right.
that. I don't think people realize how much like the area that you grow up in or like your background and your culture really affects how you approach mental illness or how you handle it or how you can, like, I've gotten really lucky. I've got an amazing support system and I've got safety plans in place out the ass and this, that, and the third. But not everybody has that. And it always breaks my heart when I see that people are like in a situation or like in an area or in a culture where that support isn't there. Like that's not how it should be at all.
It's not. It's not. And that's, we could go into a whole nother discussion about what's
Oh
going
yeah.
on with the world right now. But, it all plays into each other. Everything
Mm-hmm.
plays into each other. People just don't realize it.
No, everything is literally connected on some sort of level.
Everything. All of it.
So how is it now versus how it was in like 2019 with a support system? I know obviously you live in the Bible Belt and stuff like that and yada yada, but have you been able to find people that can see past where you are, like literally physically?
So, my circle right now is very, very, very small.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a very big circle, and I'm not trying to expand my circle. You know what I
Same.
mean? So,
Same.
um, I just kind of like, I have my brother, and he's been there. He's been my rock since all of this started. He's been the one
Mm-hmm.
I can really, really lean on, and he actually lives here with me, so that's a big plus. Um, but nowadays, it's um for a long time, I had to do exactly what you had to do, which was just suck it up. It's,
Mm-hmm.
you've got this stuff to deal with. So I learned how to, mainly before I started going back to therapy this time. I learned how to deal with this stuff before it even really had a label on
Yep.
it.
Mm-hmm. A
So,
lot of us did.
yeah. So that's just how it's been. It's I have my own little routine that I work through, and if that doesn't work, then bed rot it is.
Yep. Dude, bed rotting is so good for mental health. I don't care. I've gotten better with it. I'm like, I need to be productive. No, you need to sit your ass down and play Royal Kingdom and watch, Schitt's Creek for the 85th time and just not for a few hours. And that's
Yeah.
been really, really helpful for my mental health. But how do you manage things now? Like when you feel like a trigger coming up or a symptom coming up, what's kind of like your management plan since, you've been working on this?
What it's gotten a lot easier because
Mhm.
what I do because before I just immediately react with either anger or
Yes.
emotion immediately. You come at me, I'm coming at you, I'm matching energy, it is what it is. But
Mhm.
in this day and age, I separate the two. I look at both perspectives in almost like a split second. I try to see where you're coming from and I will hear you out to a certain extent, depending on what the situation is. But
Mhm.
that's really how I've been dealing with a lot of things is I just separate the two and look at it from both perspectives. Yes, I feel this way, but just because I feel this way doesn't mean I am that thing. Right?
Big one.
So
That is
just
a big
because I'm
one.
angry, well, just because I'm feeling angry doesn't mean I'm angry.
Yeah. It's Do you kind of struggle with almost like gaslighting yourself into being like you're feeling this too much, like a normal person wouldn't feel like this, and almost like invalidating your own emotions sometimes?
Oh yeah, it's a daily struggle. Like I have to gaslight myself to get out of bed. What are you talking about?
I
Like,
just because I know I struggle with that, and I think I've had a couple episodes on it where you're feeling really strongly about a person or a situation, and then because you know and you are aware that you struggle with feeling things a little more strongly than other people, you're just sitting there like it's not that big of a deal. A normal person wouldn't somebody that doesn't have BPD wouldn't be this like emotional about it. So like shove it down, shove it down, shove it down. Like I know I have my people that I'm like, am I feeling this too much? No, actually, this is how anybody would feel. And then I'm just like, okay, well, square up, bitch.
right.
But do you kind of struggle with that too, where you're just like, I'm feeling this too much. This isn't like worth being this angry at. Like, why, shove it down, shove it down. Don't react. Do you kind of struggle with that?
Yes, I put a lot of my emotions, my feelings, and just a lot of everything just to the back burner because I inherently know that I am a lot to deal with. It takes a very specific person to, be able to help me, not help me because that's not what this is about, but
Right.
to be able to just be around me. It is
Mm-hmm.
it is a lot because from any given second I could be the happiest go lucky person you've ever met to hating your absolute guts, get out of my face. If I wouldn't go to jail, I'd hurt you.
Yeah.
So I do struggle with that a lot, with just like you said, just invalidating my own feelings and being like, it's not worth it. It's just your head messing with you.
Yeah, 1,000%. Do you have your people that you just like go off to and then they're like, well, I wouldn't do that. It's like, I'm not going to. I'm just venting. Like, just let me pop off and then I'll be fine about this in 5 minutes.
So not really.
Mm.
If if I'm venting, that means I'm already taking action in something. I'm
Ah.
actively bitching about it while doing something about it.
Eh.
Yeah. So that is also a bit of a problem because most people don't know that I have a problem with them until it's too late. Because most people don't know how to pick up on social cues either.
I tend to bury my dislike of people for a little bit because I'm trying to like figure out if it's like a genuine dislike because of who they are as a person or because something they're doing is just annoying as fuck.
Right.
9 times out of 10, it's option one. But, it's just that one time that I'm like, well, maybe it'll be this one time. And it almost never, never ever is.
Oh man, let me give you the benefit of the doubt. Oh wait, let me take that back.
Yeah, right. I should have listened to my gut. Never mind.
Yes.
What is one thing or more, could be more than one thing, that you wish people understood about schizoaffective disorder that people are getting really, really wrong in their assumptions?
So not just schizoaffective, but I'm gonna kind of group schizoaffective and schizophrenia together because they do run hand in hand. The biggest misconception that I kind of want to get everybody to realize is we're not these evil, nasty people that the media and everyone like that portrays. Yes, we do have times where we act erratically and we act out a character and this, that, and the third. But most of the time, if I'm gonna inflict harm on anybody, it is going to be myself before anybody else because I don't want to see
Mm-hmm.
anybody else hurt. And if
Yep.
my actions cause that, I do apologize and I will own up to whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just the biggest misconception is just we're not these batshit crazy people that can't be helped like everyone makes us out to be. We live normal lives like everybody else. Our hardware is just a little wired different.
Well, and I think the problem too, and it's even with borderline, is what people are seeing are the people that don't care to manage it, that
Yes.
aren't working their ass off. And those are the like we were just talking about earlier with religion. It's always the bad ones that are getting the most attention, basically kind of like the brand
Mm-hmm.
for people to see. So, because when I first came out as borderline, I remember there was a trainer at the gym that I was at, and he's like, you don't come off as one at all. Like, you're really well adjusted. I'm like, I have worked my ass off
There you go.
to be adjusted. So I think, especially with schizophrenia, there are things that are out of their control, but if they're aware and they're medicating and, they're doing what they need to do to try and like get a good majority of it, because there are always going to be ones that is just like, you definitely should be on medication, you're choosing not to be, and you things that are happening as a result of your inaction to take care of yourself, you deserve the consequences of those actions, a thousand
Mm-hmm.
percent. But those are the ones that everyone thinks is how it actually goes, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like that's not everyone.
No.
That's not at
Because
all.
a lot of and this goes with a lot of mental illnesses or anything that you just got to take medication all the time for.
Mm-hmm.
It comes to a point in a lot of people's journey where they're just like, I'm tired of taking these pills, I can do it without it, I'm going to self-medicate. And that is where the problem in lies,
Mm-hmm.
self-medication.
Even for depression, people are like, oh my god, I feel better, I think I'm gonna stop taking my meds. I'm like, no, you feel better because you're taking the meds.
Yes.
I get it, it's exhausting to take a pill every day. It's freaking exhausting, but it's what's keeping you from XYZing.
Yes.
If you can manage without medication, fucking do it. But there are a lot of things that, like,
You need it.
your brain is missing something and you have to medicate,
Yes.
because
100%.
otherwise things go very haywire. And again, you have to suffer the consequences of those actions. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that one.
Yes, like my dad, prime example, rest his soul. Um, so he was really bad about that. Whenever he was on his medication, dude was one of the most chillest people you'd ever meet. Really
Mm-hmm.
couldn't tell that there was a problem. He was quiet, so that's where I get it. But
Mm-hmm.
he was quiet, but also, he was just like everybody else until he got fed up with his medication, stopped taking it, and self-medicated. And he'd turn to the drugs and the alcohol and to the other stuff that would make him feel more like a normal person,
Mm-hmm.
and back in his environment. And whenever he did that, that's when it'd come down to him fighting off 12 police officers with a samurai sword or climbing a 26-foot water tower and jumping off of it.
Yeah,
It's,
because we're not saying like, oh, you have a problem, like you should be medicated so that you're like a normal person. But a lot of the times, like you were saying, when you're not medicated, your more likely to harm other people.
Yes.
It's not just a we just want you to be normal and fit in with society. We don't want you harming other people or harming yourself
Right.
because climbing a water tower is not safe.
It's not.
Like, no, it's not.
And well, okay, he didn't jump off. The
Oh
police,
well, we've got that for going
yeah,
for him.
the police showed up and he was trying to climb down, but like almost halfway down, he slipped and fell in a puddle and wound up in the hospital. But
Oh my god.
that's neither here nor there.
Right. Um, do you think your experiences with your dad affected your motivation to manage it because you've seen it not managed?
Um, so there's two specific instances I'll delve into or whatnot that really kind of open these were the times where it really opened my wokeness started as a child. You know, that's
Mhm.
I really started questioning things as a child because one incident in specific, my dad had mixed his medications. Something you just don't do. Don't mix your medications. PSA for everybody watching, do not mix your medications.
Yeah,
Anyways,
no.
um, or mix match them. But he mixed his medication and he fell asleep behind the wheel. We rear-ended somebody. It was a whole situation. But we wound up going back to the house, right? My mom went back to work with my sister and her friend, and me and my dad were at the house. I was supposed to watch my dad, and I was like young at this point in time,
Mhm.
right? He was, at first, he was like kind of just loopy, not really anything too crazy because we just got into a car wreck.
Mhm.
But slowly, not really slowly, really quickly, things took a turn for the worst. Because
Mhm.
all I know is I'm in my room and my dad's flipping furniture all over the place and talking to people that don't exist. And I go in there to check on him because I hear him calling for his uncle that had just passed away like 4 months prior to that or something like that. And he was having a full blown conversation with him. And I'm like, Dad, Uncle Bill's dead. And he turns around, grabs me by the collar of my shirt, throws me up against the wall, starts cussing me out for everything I'm worth because he doesn't believe that his uncle has passed away.
Mm.
And he's also at the same time uh, accusing me of stealing all of his medication and hiding it so he couldn't take it, couldn't do anything with it. And then further on that night goes down the line and he's trying to feed because my sister comes back at this point in time. My mom's still at work and he's trying to feed me and my sister both macaroni paint, like white macaroni paint. He was trying to feed that to us and to the dog and a whole bunch of other stuff that night. So
Mhm.
that's whenever I really started to realize that something ain't right with this man because it had never
Mhm.
been explained to me before exactly what was
Yeah.
going on. And so after that, I don't remember if it had gotten really like uh explained to me in such a way. I don't remember. A lot of my
Right.
childhood I have blocked out. But um
Yeah.
fast forward to a couple years later, we lost our childhood house and we're in an apartment at this point in time. And I get up at like 1 o'clock in the morning to go get a glass of water. And I walk into my living room and it literally looks like an interrogation room. Like there's just one singular light pointed at my dad, right? And this is a trigger warning for anybody out there. This is going to get a little. But
Mhm.
I walk in and I see my dad just kind of doing this number on his arm. Didn't know exactly what he was doing, and he didn't realize I was there. So
Mhm.
he looks up and he's like, "Hello, son," and he tells
Oh.
me to come sit next to him. And thus
Mhm.
he explains to me what cutting is and how
Mhm.
to do it properly, how to bandage yourself. And that's the night I figured out about his mental ill because he broke it all down to me that night. That night. And
Mhm.
that's what I went to school with the next morning, the information in my head. But he taught me step by step, and that's how I started doing it because that's
Mhm.
how my dad dealt with his problems, that's how I should deal with my problems. So I
No,
don't do that anymore, but
yeah. I also struggled with that a little bit. I hid mine though because my parents were very like, you know, image.
yes.
So couldn't have the super depresso kid. But yeah, I mean that's a lot to even young and like how obviously your dad's passed on, but how is your relationship with your parents now, especially with things being as tumultuous as they were?
So, my mother, uh, not not so
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Um, the reason being behind that is because I tried to make amends whenever I was doing therapy and all that good
Mhm.
stuff the first time around. I tried to make amends, and she looked me dead in my eyes and told me that no matter what happens, she's never going to stop using, drinking, anything like that. You'll have to pry it out of her cold, dead hands. And after that day, I just haven't talked to her since. I was like, I already have one parent that's crazy and I need you, but you're not even going to do that. So I'll take care of myself. I got this.
Yeah. Well, you also can't really be in that environment for your own personal development as well.
Hmm.
It just it sucks, but we've kind of gone over like management
Yes.
a little bit, but how do you cope?
How do I
How do you
just with
yeah,
everything?
what are your like non-therapy therapies?
Okay. So, I smoke weed.
I mean, shit, at this point, like
Yeah.
that's how I relax and go to bed. All right.
Yes.
I am popping a gummy and I am going to night
That is
because I don't sleep without it.
That is 100% how I cope with what I've got going on because I don't get so blasted to the point to where like I don't know what's going on around me. I smoke just
Right.
enough to calm me down, give me that little buzz I'm looking for, and then I'm taking my butt to sleep.
Yep. Like I don't use it during the day like at all, but at night when I just need to calm the voices,
Yeah,
the everyone's like, "Oh, the voices." I'm like, "No, it's my internal dialogue that won't shut the fuck up." Like that bit you think I don't have a mute button, that bitch doesn't have a mute button.
right.
It's constantly going, 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 going. So it's just like you're gonna shut up and I'm gonna go to sleep.
Yeah. And
So
also shout out to my cat. She's helped
yes.
so much. Like, I can almost guarantee you that if I did not get my cat when I did, me and you would not be having this conversation. Guaranteed.
You know, Max is almost 10. And for the longest time, he was my reason to stay because he was a very clingy, needy little shit. And I was like, he's going to wind up in a shelter and he's going to wind up euthanized because he's too clingy and people don't like clingy cats. So I have to stay because I don't want to do that to him.
Right.
And then it became, well, now it's, over my cold dead body is my ex husband getting the dog. So that's, so you guys got another like 9 or 10 years out of me before I have to come up with a new reason.
There
But,
you go.
like,
Because
you just
I learned
yeah.
very early on that if you can't go on for yourself, find something to go on for. Whether it be an animal, whether it be a friend, whatever it be, there's always a reason to hang on. There's always a reason to stay.
Well,
1000%.
and it just every time I see a I hate saying successful, but completed suicide attempt, it breaks my heart
Yeah.
because I know how close I've gotten.
Hmm.
I know I have actively attempted. So I know the pain and the whatnot that they were going through. And it sucks that they were able to complete it because now, and I still see people sometimes saying, "Oh, suicide is selfish," and I was like, "Stop!
I rip
We're
them a
not
new
we're not
one every
villainizing this
time.
shit anymore.
I rip them a
We're
new
not
one every
villainizing this
time.
shit anymore.
No.
We're not." It is you do not understand how much pain and anguish somebody is going through that it does not matter to them that everyone's going to be devastated after the fact. The only thing that matters is that whatever's going on in their head and their body, it just fucking stops.
Hmm.
it's a peace thing for them. It's not them not thinking of their family and not thinking of this. And it's just like, I could be on a soapbox about this for hours.
Same.
Like, I, it breaks my heart when somebody actually goes through with it. But I also know the amount of shit that people deal with that brings them to that measure.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's just like, if you find a reason to stay, great. I'm so grateful for 988. I think I think I saw a stat that rates have dropped since 988 was a thing, especially because now you can text instead of call,
I used to
which is a
have
big one.
on my old truck. I used to have 988 spray painted in black on my tailgate.
Yeah, because you just never know.
You don't?
And, if you have a reason to stay, great. But if you don't, I'm begging you to find one.
Yeah,
The world is a better place with you in it. I understand that you think it won't be, but it will.
it will. There is somebody who, even if you don't realize it, there is somebody who admires you, who needs you in their life for them. Your presence is
1,000%.
always wanted, whether you see it or not. It's all a mind game. You have to you have to
You
force
really
yourself
do.
out of it. But hey, if you can't hang on, we love you.
Yeah. We so just to kind of wrap a little bit, what's next on your mental health journey? Just trying your best over here?
Yeah, that's about where it's gonna go. Is I do know that I'm gonna try to hunt down my old therapist because I do have a little bit. My screws are a little bit loose right now. I need a little bit of tune up. I need to be
Mhm.
put back in the shop. My wiring's a little faulty, but other than that, just day by day. That's all we can do right now is just day by day.
I completely get that. Well, Schizo, thank you so much for hopping on, coming out of the chat onto the camera.
Well,
I beyond appreciate
Well,
it.
I appreciate the opportunity, and I do want to shout you out because as long as well, not as long, but with a couple other different creators, you have definitely helped a lot with just like battling my anxiety and just daily things. Because seeing you come on camera and just do your thing and just be so active with everybody and your community, like it's seriously uplifting along with KS Rich and Mother of Jedi, like you three are like a big inspiration to me, like hands down. Like y'all have helped in ways that y'all will probably ever know. Well, I
God damn it, you're
appreciate
gonna
you.
make me cry. Well, Schizo again. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Anytime.